part 6 of the Tamiya 1/48 scale Phantom F-4B build. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies and welcome back to part 6 of the Tamiya 1/48 scale Phantom F-4B build. So here we go, we've got what we're up to. I've got the fuselage, which is pretty much complete now. Actually, it looks like a plane now. Okay, so in the last one we concentrated on putting together all the sub-assemblies, the wings, fuselage, air intakes, the front sort of undercarriage panel there, and then also the horizontal stabilizer. We made sure that that was all moving, so it's all nice and smooth, it's all good. Okay, so let me just pop on my goggles here. Now we've already completed step 26, so we're going to be moving on to step 27, which is building and attaching the nozzles. So let's just put on my eyes. All right, so before we get into that, I was thinking, since I was just doing some washes, I was looking down here and you can actually see some of the engine detail. So I'll put some black wash down there, give it a bit of time to dry, and then we'll start moving on to this part. But as I look at it, I think I've missed a part here somewhere, this bottom panel. So let's see if I can find that. If I find that, no, maybe I haven't. Oh, right here, M4. Okay, there you go. Let's look for M4. Where could that be? That's right here. All right, so that's what happens when you do sort of speed builds like this. Occasionally you miss things. All right, so there's that part there, which I'll put on in a moment, but let's put some wash in here, give it time to dry, and then by the time we do this and the engines, we should be able to clean it all up. All right, so that's not reaching. I'll need to get myself a brush to get into there. I'll be back in just a jiffy. Okay, so I'm back with a longer hairy stick. Let's open this up. So it's quite handy that these come with a brush, but this one's, as you can see, that's a bit short. So let's pop that aside, use our brush here, and start getting into the insides. Just going to apply it quite liberally, and then I'll clean it up a bit later. There's quite a lot of detail in these nozzle exits. Okay, sort of covering it very nicely. Okay. All right, looks good. All right, so that black wash is just drying inside now. Spend some time to clean this up a little bit. You may have noticed a couple of episodes ago, I was having a bit of trouble with trimming with a knife because I had a blunt blade. So that's a bit of a lesson. Always try to use a fresh blade. Gives you a much cleaner result. Okay, let's just test fit that. Okay, so it looks pretty good. This is going to need a little bit of tape to hold it together, which I have here. Okay, looks good. A little bit of tape. Okay, a bit more on this side. Just making sure it's glued nice and flush. Alright, touch of tape on this side. Okay, now that we're happy with all of that, so that both ends are glued, I'll apply the glue to the major joint. Again, making sure I don't get too close to the tape. Okay, nice. Alright, so while that's drying, let's move on to, let's put this away before I spill it. Let's move on to the nozzles. Okay, so I'm going to be needing these F parts, which are all over here. Just see how nice and deep all that detail is there. Okay, and then F1, 6 pieces. This is a section where this particular kit excels. Quite often people don't like the engine nozzles that are injected molded, because quite often they're molded in one piece. You just can't get the side detail from a one piece mold. So here you see the multiple pieces. So you've got the exterior detail and then also the interior detail there too. Okay, so those are the parts for one engine. Might as well cut the other ones out as well. Do them all at the same time. Okay, so there's all our bits here. Alright, so 6 of these for each side. There's just a cleaning up that we need to do. Okay, so nozzle surrounds, then I've got these little parts here. Okay, just the final 6 now. Okay, last part here. Okay, so I've got those trimmed. Let's get a bit of sandpaper and just quickly clean it up. Just want to make sure that these are reasonably clean, because these are going to be a quite a tight fit. You want them to fit correctly. Oh, too many over there. Let's put another one there. Right, only 3 more to go. Some of the times this can be quite tedious, but if you just spend the time, sort of a meditative state, once you get these perfect, I have a really good fit. Because I mean, Tamiya can engineer very well, but there's always going to be these dags, so you still need to use your basic techniques for cleaning, because any dags left behind, they're always going to be an obstruction to the build. Okay, so they're done. We'll just quickly go around the nozzles here. Sometimes it's difficult to tell when a nub is sanded down correctly. Because plastic is semi-transparent, when you look at it, sometimes it's hard to see that it's really, if it's smooth or not. And that's why I use my fingernail and I rub across the top, because the fingernail will pick up any ridges. Okay. All right, that's nice. All right, so that's good. Okay, there we go. We've got nozzles ready to take the what do you call these bits? I don't know. Little gates. Okay, so we're just going to make sure that they go in their correct locations. See how does it fit. So I'm meant to fit within these guides. Okay. It's clear enough. Alright, so I'm just going to tack it. Because you need these to fit perfectly, we need to be able to break it free if it doesn't quite match. Alright, so I'll put a little bit in there. That'll hold it in place, so I'll put in the next one. Same thing. So we'll keep going around like this. Once we're all happy with the alignment, because it's going to be the very last one that goes on, unless you know if the alignment's right, we'll apply the final amount of glue. That's pretty much my philosophy throughout the whole build, and basically anything that I build. Try to test fit everything, because each thing influences how the next thing and the very last thing attaches. And this is going to tell, as the last one. And being the last one, this is going to be the hardest one to fit in there as well. Can't really see what I'm doing here. Oh, here we go. Alright, and that's in. And basically, it's a pretty perfect fit. Okay, so we're happy with that. Let's just apply the glue everywhere. Again, the joins are so good, can't really see where they are to apply the glue. Okay, so there's one done, and now the next one. Again, we're up to the last one. Perfect fit. Alright, so we're happy with all this. Let's just find all the joins. Okay, there we go. So just amazing how this all fits together. So some of that interior detail there, and the exterior as well. It's all fit really well. Very nice. All right. Okay, so we've got our engine nozzles done. Our washer's been drying there. We've got the rear end here that's been drying up. We've got this little tail section, so B6. Let's find B6 and do that little tail bit. Where's B? Alright, so B6. B6 is this version here. So you might notice that it's actually including two different tail caps. So I guess for this B version, you use a 6. Okay, let's clean that up. Okay, a little bit of sand. So let's use this finer one here. Okay, happy with that. Do a quick dry fit. Nice fit. All right. And let's apply our glue before we lose it. Let's put this back here. Alright, so I've only put one dab of glue on it, make sure it's sort of sitting where I want it to sit. Feels pretty right, so let's apply the rest of the glue. Okay, so there's a tail cap that's on it now. See that? So you can see, well, you may not be able to see, but the wash inside there is pretty much dry. Let's test fit these nozzles. Yep, pretty tight fit. Let's try this way. Just pay attention to this orientation. That's pretty good. This one. Okay, I think you've got to be careful to get these matched up right. That drops into there. And that drops into there. Okay, so I guess when you get to the nozzles, they do only fit in one way. Okay, so there's a couple of marks, which are just here, and they'll match up at this point here. And you see that there's no gap when you do that. If you try to put it in any way, you see there's some resistance. So there's a massive gap, so that's not right. And so, there you go. That's another reason for doing all your dry fitting. You find exactly the right spot without forcing anything, and then you can be confident that you're going to put it in the correct areas. Okay, so before I glue them in, let's just clean up this wash. So that's simply going to be a bit of thinner and a cotton wool bud. Alright, so you notice that all I did was shake the bottle. So I shook it like this so that some thinner would get into the cap. And the cap there's only a little bit, and that's pretty much all I want. That's on there. So it's just basically just wetted the cotton wool bar just a little bit. And I'm just poking this in here and just wiping around, and it's just taking out some excess. So you might be able to see there that's starting to blacken up. And do that all the way around. So there you go. You see that sort of blackness coming through? So that's just as it's picking up. It's just taking off the wash from the high points. And I'm not sure you can see in there. Maybe not, it's not focusing in there, is it? But this side's the side that I've already cleaned up, and I'll be moving on to this side now. Okay, so it's cleaned up now. Can't really see, but you can see by the amount of wash I've taken off. So that's off both sides of that the nozzle outtake. Okay, that's done. So let's get these nozzles on. So again, there's a couple little marks here, and that's basically they're going to meet these corners. So you see how they fall in with the least resistance. All right, that's good. All right, so let's start applying the glue. Now before I do that, let's just make sure I've glued all these parts completely. So it looks like this tail section, I missed some bits here. I'll just apply some glue. All right, and now let's put on our nozzles. Actually, before I do that, I might apply some glue here because I can't actually get into this spot. So we'll apply some glue now, and then we'll drop it in. That should give us the best bond. Because even though it's working with capillary reaction, this thin glue, sometimes it doesn't get all the way to the other side. All right, here we go. So that's my nozzle on. All right, let's drop some glue on here again. Look for the locator mark and drop it in again. There we go, just make sure it's set pretty flush. Right, here we go. That's step 27 complete. Now, I still got some tape here from where I attached that panel I forgot last time. It should be okay now. I'll just take off this tape. Let's check out the join. The join feels really nice. All right, so I'm just going to apply some glue over where the tape was along here. All right, and that's all complete too now. All right, so we're going to move on to step 28. All right, so this is starting to put on the gear covers. All right, so we start with the main gear covers. All right, P22 and P23. 21 and P20. Okay, so I've got to find myself sprue P. This is probably P here, I'm guessing. Is that P? There we go. Right, we hit a winner. Oops. Let's move this out of the way. Alright, so what have we got here? We've got 22. Alright, 22, 23. 22. 23, and then 21. 21 goes with that one, I think. That's not right. Yep, looks right. Okay. All right, let's clean up these components here. All right, they're cleaned up. So basically, what we're doing, we're just gluing these panels onto undercarriage doors. So a couple of locators. You probably would have noticed last time I was shaking my glue bottle a lot too. That's because I was running out of glue, but I've got a replenish bottle now. And I've got plenty of glue, but the problem is sometimes I can get too much on the brush, so I just got to be careful. So that's not properly cleaned up yet. Alright, so the doors. Oh, there's a bit of a dag here I missed before. Alright, which takes us to step 29, attaching the wind undersurface parts. Okay, so these are going to end up in here with a whole heap of other bits. Alright, so let's just get this aligned. Alright, so what bits do we need? Let's get these door actuators so we can actually get them in the right spot. So P1 and P2. No, so P, what was P again? Over here. P1 and P2. Okay, quick cleanup. All right. So this fits in to this point. And then just get the correct part here, and this fits into here. All right. Okay, so let's make sure we put some cement on the inside because it's being held together with a pin. And this one. Alright, so I'm just using tweezers to press it into the correct location. Okay, so that should be quite straight, as you can see there. You can see it hanging down. Now before I glue this supporting strut in place, I'm just going to make sure the other side is going to look the same. So let's just put that into place. Whoops. So again, using tweezers just to find the right location. Supporting strut. Okay, because what you want is you want those two to be on the same angle. So from what I can tell, they look pretty much the same, which is what I expect from a Tamiya kit anyway. But just to be certain, I think they look pretty good. Okay, so since I'm happy with that, I'm just going to glue these struts into place now. Okay, so first lot of gear doors in. Okay, now there's all these little sensor type things that we'll be putting around the place. So let's see where we'll start with. Let's see some of these end parts. Which one's the end sprue? Let's find the end sprue. Okay, so there's the end sprue. It's got all the little bits and pieces. Right, what are we going for? N33, N34. Right, so a lot of these covers here. N33. N33. Okay, so N33. N33. 33 and 34. Okay, so these are going to fit into the locating holes that I drilled earlier. Now I didn't drill them with the large drill bits as indicated in the manual. So I'll need to open up some of these holes to accommodate. Just give it a quick clean up. Okay, so this one's going to go on this side, which means I need to open up this hole quite a bit more. Alright, so all these forward facing holes need to be opened just a touch. Now I'm using a knife. The manual indicates a pin vise. Which in hindsight is probably what I should have used. Alright, so there's a locator. There we go. So that's one in place. Let's check this side. This just needs a little bit more material removed. Alright, so dry fit, they're flush, which is what we want. Okay, so happy with that, let's put on the glue. Okay, good stuff. Alright, let's move on to the next bit. So there's these little N3 Duvalakis. Okay, trim those off. I probably don't need to clean those up because the nubs are on the very end, which is going into the fuselage. So let's just pop those into place, make sure they fit. They're pretty small, so let's use some tweezers. Alright, so it just pops in there. Oh. Alright, so they're backward facing, just make sure they go the right way. Alright, looks good. Alright, a little bit of pressure from the tweezers, just make sure they're aligned correctly and pressed flush into the base of the wing. Alright, so they're good. Alright, so where we're up to now. Alright, so these Duvalakis over here. N30 and N31. N30 and N31. All right, quick trim. Okay, now where do they live? They're just going to live over here. Alright, so again I just need to open up this hole a bit. Alright, that's pretty good. Just going to open this side. Alright, just a little bit more. Okay, both of those are nice and flush. Fit in with some glue. Okay, nice. Alright, so what are we doing now? We've got these little undercarriage doors here, B15 and B16. B15 and 16 right here. Now the way these undercarriage doors have been designed is very, very clever, I think, because quite often aircraft undercarriage have very tiny scale looking hinges, and that's all you get to glue onto. But as you can see here, that's a big huge chunk, and it's actually molded in the particular angle it's going to be sitting at. So it's going to have a lot of strength, and it'll also have the almost correct alignment. I say almost because there's always going to be some movement, and so you just got to be careful. You just do a little bit of adjustment, make sure it fits absolutely perfectly. Okay, so this one goes in here. So they're going to be sitting at an angle, as you can see there. Just dry fit this side. Alright, so just make sure the angles are roughly the same. Just about right. Let's put in our glue. looking good. All right, so have I forgotten any bits? No, all looks good. Okay, so that's step 29 done. Attaching the wing undersurface parts. All right, so they're all in their various compartments. Okay, so now we're going to start attaching the nose landing gear cover. So that's 30. So step number 30, we'll be concentrating around here. All right, what do we need? Mainly end parts. So N, that's B, F, end parts, okay. All right, so we're going to N17. N17, N19. N14. Alright, so that's N14. What else do we have here? J and Q parts. Okay. Let's do a bit of hunting around. J and Q parts. I found some Q parts. What do we need there? Q6. Q6. Q6 and J parts. Those J parts are probably clear parts, I think. Alright, where's all the clear parts? Okay, not that bit. What do we have here? Alright, bingo, J parts. Alright, so J6. Some of these other little ones I think I'm going to add a bit later. I'm going to use a different glue for those. But this one, since it's going to be sandwiched, let's just cut it out. And we'll glue it in place. Okay, so let's just clean up some of these bits. Just need to be careful with some of these tiny parts so you don't lose them. Alright, is it clear bit? The antenna. Okay. Okay. Just a little bit more to go. All right, so what do we have here? So I've got this part. It's got a little clear bit that goes in here. All right, then this sandwiches over the top. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I've got this section here. Okay, and now we've just got this little vein that goes across here. This what tweezers is going to be very handy. Alright, now for parts like this, you want to make sure that the antennas are going straight. So we just make sure we look at a particular angle and just straighten it up. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep. Okay, so from there, this just slides. Whoops. Almost ran away. It just slides into here. Like so. Right, so that looks all right. Well, we're coming towards the end of our session now, so I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to glue this on because if I leave it like this, it's going to be quite fragile. Now these ones on here, they're quite chunky. So that's another part of the engineering, so that while you're building, if you do rest on these particular undercarriage doors, they're not going to break off. But this one looks a bit fragile because this is going to be connected to the front undercarriage. So wait until we get to that point and then we'll glue this on. But for the moment, I'm going to leave this separate. We have our aircraft here. And it doesn't look a lot different, but we are adding on all the finer details to the exterior now. So I've still got a few nubs around the places here. So it's still going to be wingtips. It's going to be the flaps or ailerons. And we've got the nose and then all the other paraphernalia. But that's where we're up to now. Okay, so we're still doing step 30 of the build. So this is installment number 6 of the Tamiya 1/48 scale Phantom 48 scale, did I say that already? F-4B build. Okay, so that's where we're at. Not a lot different, but we focus mainly on sort of the rear end and then the undercarriage parts. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time around for episode 7.